In today's video, I'm gonna show you my secret sauce to how I end up getting these beautiful looks in my videos. I'll show you how I color graded two of my best performing projects from scratch, and I'll also be providing the LUTs that I used. So let's get into it. Well, right now we are in Resolve. I've got 3 clips here from a music video that I shot. Let me just play them for you guys to see. This is the first clip. This is the second clip. And this is the third clip. I'll use this one and I'll take that as my hero frame. Then we'll go to the color tab. Before we get into the color tab, there is something that I like doing with such projects. So I'll come here and then you come to color management. Then you come here and you change this. I like operating using HDR because this footage was shot using Blackmagic cameras, and Blackmagic cameras are capable of HDR. So I want you to see the difference. You can see this is flat, but once I've turned it to HDR, this is what happens. You get some color into the footage already. And I like operating this way. So from there, I'll just add a random number of nodes. I don't really care how many. And yeah, I see a lot of people naming their nodes and all that stuff. I'm not going to do it right now because I want to do something this quickly. So I'll come to my LUTs here, and there's this LUT, particular LUT here, that I'm gonna throw it into the footage. And as you can see, that looks terrible, honestly. You can see the skin tones are off, they're completely orange. You can see on the vector scope here. Now, we have to correct this. This is the look that we are going for. That's why I'm using this LUT. So I'll come to the third node here, and first of all, I'll just come to the waveforms, and since we're in HDR, we are operating in high dynamic range. I'm just gonna try and squeeze as much juice as I can from this footage, and I'll push the gains down a little bit, then I'll come to the lift and raise them up a little bit. Then I'll come to the contrast and crank it up completely to around, yeah, there. That still looks terrible, but I'll come to the fourth node and come to the curves, enable editable splines, and then from there I will raise this, but you can see we are clipping here. We've lost the sky, so to regain that, I'll take this down, and we've got the sky back. On the blacks, I'll pull them down a little bit because we still have space. Like I said, high dynamic range, we're gonna try and get as much juice as we can from this footage. That looks good, but the skin tones are way too orange. So what do? We need a vector scope to guide us. You can see we're not there. You can see where the skin tones are lying on the vector scope. So I'll come to the fifth node, and I'll come to the offset, and I'll just try to bring everything to the center line, and then I'll push it down a little bit to reduce that orange color. I'll go around blue and cyan, the direction of blue and cyan, to try and reduce the orange color. And now you can see the skin tones are on the line. We're now operating around the line. I'll try and see. I want to come here and see her teeth. From there, I'll come to the second node and I'll just try and make it a bit colder because the teeth are kind of yellowish, to reduce the orange from the footage. Once we're there, this looks good, the skin tones look good, the teeth are white, and that's it. Don't need much. That looks good. I don't need to add anything. So this is what I'll do. I'll come here and I'll apply the grade, but you can see this becomes too dark. Like the skin tones are sitting where they should be, which is good. Now I'll come here and I'll just try and raise this up a little bit, and that looks good. Of course, I can come here and try to raise the lift a little bit just by 1, and yeah, that looks great. Now here it's gonna be tricky because this is very bright. So if I apply this, you can see it doesn't look the same. So we're gonna check the waveforms. When you're color grading, you have to learn how to read the waves. As we check the waveforms, you can see some part of the footage is blown off, but other parts are fine. Like the shadows are fine. The highlights, a little bit of it is blown, but everything looks good. Now I'll come to back to the vector scope, look at where the skin tones are, and you can see the skin tones are way off. So to fix this, I'll come back here and try and take the skin tones where they should be, which is around there. You can see the skin tones are back where they're supposed to be. But now the orange and reddish, there's just too much magenta in the footage. So I'll come to the second node here, and you can see there's lots of blue, which is not ideal for the footage, so I'll just reduce the blue a little bit that way. Since this is raw footage, I'll come here and I'll try to do this. I'll change this to clip, then I'll try to take that down a little bit that way. That helps to reduce the brightness of the footage, but then I'll need to come back to the curves and take that back. So that does not look overexposed now. Around there. We can check the skin tones, they're sitting where they're supposed to be. We can check the waveforms, we are clipping. So I'll need to take it down just a little bit. Yeah, around there. Now we have a high dynamic range look here in all the 3 clips. It was super easy to do. There's that, and there's that. Now for the second project, this is the clip that we're going to be working with. This footage was shot using the Blackmagic 6K Pro in 6K 50 frames per second in RAW format, or Blackmagic RAW, or B-RAW for those of you who are nerds in this thing. That means it's a high dynamic range footage and has a lot of room to play with. So let's have fun with it. Again, I'll just move to the color tab, then we're gonna do the same thing. The color science changed to DaVinci RGB color managed, and then the color processing mode, I'll do HDR, and then boom, we've got some color added into the footage. Then just like last time, I'll add a random number of nodes, then I'll take the same LUT. Like that already looks good. You don't need to do much. But like I said, this is HDR, we still have some juice to squeeze here. So if we got some juice, we've got to squeeze it. And down here, you can see the shadows are clipping. So I'll come to the third node as always, then I'll do the same thing. I'll take this, take the highlights down a little bit, because we don't wanna make her face overexposed because she's shining. On this side, I'll raise the shadows because we need to recover the hair. The hair has to be seen. It's beautiful. She spent time working on it. It's got to be seen. You know what I'm saying? I'll raise the shadows to around 6-ish there, 5-ish, yeah. It's not bad there. Then from there, again, I'll come here, do the same thing. Of course, you'll have to activate editable splines for you to do this. So I'll try and unraise the highlights, but you can see it's tricky because it's overexposing her face, and you can see we're already clipping. And as always, you just take this down. Take this down, make sure the face is well illuminated, it looks good. You can just see the sun is hitting the face, but it's not overexposed. Same thing we do with the shadows, but now this time you can see the shadows are also clipping. So we just raise this a little bit because, like I said, we don't want to lose the hair. So if you raise it up a little bit, then we get that HDR look. Actually, you can leave it there, but I like checking the vector scope just to make sure everything is fine. The skin tones are where they should be, and that's great. Some people will want to reduce the orange, and this is how you can do it. You can just come here and take it down a little bit, like move to the direction of blue and cyan, and around there, yeah, that looks fantastic. You don't have to do much, and this was a raw footage, so that looks good already. Let's see it in the full screen. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that's how I color grade most of my projects, and you can see this look in lots of my projects that I've been putting out over the years. Now, if you'd like to get that LUT, it's in the description below. You can go check it out. There's a free version and there's a paid version. You can check it out. The free version can already do this if you just follow the steps. The paid version is more of the already done for you. You just slap it on the footage and you don't have to do much. So you can check it out and then you let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If you got value from this video, kindly give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Otherwise, thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Blessings.